Edward Forde Hickey, please tell us about your book.
This is my book. It's The Early Morning Light, and it's to do with my early childhood. I was born at the time of the German Blitz of London, and I was in a hospital for a few weeks, premature, frail, in an oxygen tent. My parents decided to send me to Tipperary to my grandmother, and she had had 15 children and was now alone with her son. And for the next 5 years, I had what you call an extended evacuation period. And when I look back on it, I was like a little prince, unique, 2 old people, just me, and every day learning from them. The children who lived in that community in Tipperary, well, they were barefoot for most of the year. I had my posh clothes, my sandals and my socks, and they must have thought I was pretty odd, having come from 500 miles away, big ship, big boat. They knew about that. But my grandmother soon sent me off with the children, and we paddled in the rivers, and we climbed trees, the easy ones for me, and robbed our orchards. And the simplification of life, the uncomplication of life, it was all there. And the people riding by on their horses with their rabbits, going to the shop, they would say, "How is the little Englishman? Are you winning the war for us today?" And everybody would laugh. And then the women going down for the pension, they would stop, and the word they used, it seemed to be a lot of God in it. You know, God bless the work, a glorious day, thanks be to God. And each day would start at the fireside. My gran would kneel me down. There were the prayers. By the time I was 5, I could say fairly devoutly, at least 12. My uncle would have the playing cards on wet days, and he would have his cigarette cards. We would look at the pictures, we would talk about them, and by the time I was 5 again, I could count the cards to over 1,000. It was quite a luxury, all this. And then we would have the adventures into the hills with my uncle, almost a wordsworthy an experience, where he would shoot the rabbits, and he'd say, "Go fetch me that rabbit, son." And I'd bring it back, and he'd dab a little blood on my cheeks. "You're a real hunter." And then he'd take me out into the woods, to the rivers, to fish, sit on the shiny side of his waistcoat. It was a glorious time. It was sad to see the dead animals for a little boy, but I got used to that, except for the pig. 4 men would help my uncle to kill it. I'd have the pan for the blood. All that was quite primitive, education at the hands of nature. And what my book, this little book here, is quite big really, this book is celebrating that era. I came in at the tail end of it. It vanished in 20 years. And I was able, luckily, to remember most of it and now to write about it. And one of the things I think I really miss is all that freedom that children have and all the constraints on children today. That's what my book is about.